Hey everybody, welcome back to the Bullhucker Podcast. I'm Moose Lundstrom.
And I'm Adam Vokey.
Where we at, folks?
We are in the bowels of the Brush Emporium.
In the bowels of the Brush Emporium here at 210 Clayton Street. What's going on, my man?
Studios, not a whole lot.
We have someone of insane importance with us today.
We do.
Massive importance.
Yep. She's like an official.
Yeah. And she's a Leo. She told us that.
Yep. That makes her even cooler because I'm a Leo, too.
She has an ex-husband that was born on August 9th.
The same day as me.
Yeah, and you're an ex-husband.
I know, it's crazy.
I felt like an outsider for the past 3 minutes here. Like I didn't belong. Gillian, Laycock, how are you?
Have you heard about the third wheel?
Yes, I have. It is.
That's typically me, so I'm glad it wasn't me today.
I guess so. So I'm just going to tee this up and let you guys have at it the conversation. Just talk it every now and then so I'm awake, you know. So how are you doing? Thanks for coming down.
Thank you for having me. I've been very excited to be here. I am doing awesome.
Yeah, you're the Akron town manager now.
I am. Have been in position for the town of Akron for 5 months.
That's and the HR person.
I do help with that, yes.
You know, do you ever get tired of doing all the work, all of Dencia's work?
Oh, I have nothing to do with that comment.
Don't worry, she'll hate me later. It's fine.
I'm going to have to defend her, and you're going to have to erase it.
Dencia Race, not Kudrin, by the way.
Right, yeah, we want to point that out.
Okay. Yeah. My good friend Dencia, our good friend Dencia.
That's absolutely unacceptable.
Yeah, so our good friend Dencia actually does this podcast quite a bit, and she claims that Dencia Race is named after her.
I know Dencia Race was on this podcast too, so she's been helping me prep.
She really?
So she's been working hard so I can get through the night and put up with your shit. So
did you actually listen to
I just have to defend her for a minute.
Yeah, you a little. Did you listen to her episode?
Dencia
Race.
Yeah, I believe so.
Her lie was so good, but so unbelievable, I should have picked it out right away. It was an unbelievable story, and she still got us to bite on it, man. It's the one where she shows up to the blind date and sits down with some dude who she doesn't know and has a conversation and then leaves.
I might not have listened.
It was like drunken supernatural hour, right? Is that kind of what it felt like? So
sure.
It's
the Twilight Zone.
It's the Twilight Zone here. Before Akron, you were in Lyman.
I was.
Kicking butt.
I was, yes.
Because that's how you and I met originally in Westminster, correct? At the CML conference.
Was that it?
Yes.
I thought it might have been before that, but it's a hazy memory.
It might be. We were sitting outside with all the Fort Morgan folks, and you kind of just ponied up to the bar with us and started talking. So,
but sounds about right.
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
But your district for CML was different. You'd always come to this one of ours.
Yes.
So, yeah. Because she liked to get our sushi here in Brush. It's the only reason she'd show up here. So,
So it was in the district meeting, or was it in Westminster?
It was Westminster at the CML. It was my first CML conference. So
that was a good one.
Yeah, it was fun. I don't remember a lot of it, but it was,
I do.
Do you?
Yeah, you have to. It's such a learning opportunity to go and. But I for some reason I thought it was before that, but that's good.
Maybe
that's
it was.
Good you remember.
Maybe it was because we started talking about Lyman and Hugo, and he's from Hawley. Well,
cool.
You know where that is?
I do.
Okay.
I do. I know the state pretty well.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
That's where I grew up. Most of my family's in Lamar though now. So
yeah.
But.
Yeah.
That's a long drive.
See, you guys are really close, and you're a business owner still.
Yes. Yes.
You have a couple businesses back in Hugo.
I have several.
Yeah.
I'm a serial entrepreneur.
So serial entrepreneur.
I'm very comfortable with that statement.
That's cool. That's cool because people just go, yeah, and smile, right? They don't know what you're talking about, so it's fine. Well, before we get any further, welcome to the Bullhucker Podcast. If you're new to the podcast, what we do is we bring on a guest. Today is Gillian Laycock. Gillian's going to tell us 3 stories about her life. Now, here's a kicker. Only 2 of these stories are true. One's either borrowed, made up, or it's an embellished story. We're not going to ask which it is. We're just going to shoot from the hip right at them.
Right. Yep.
At the end of the podcast, Mr. Vokey and I are going to attempt to try and guess her BS to see if we'll see how good a liar she is.
Yeah, we will see.
And you know what? It comes to us, everybody's a pretty good liar because we're pretty bad at this. We're only 154 episodes in. You'd think to
be better.
Yeah. I'm
feeling pretty stressed about this. I've been thinking about it for a couple of weeks now. I struggle with lying.
Oh,
it's a bad day if I have to lie, and I really don't enjoy it.
Listen,
I'll just tell you, it's very stressful to even consider it. Being in government, we're civil servants. Mm-hmm. We follow the rules, tell the truth.
Gillian,
I feel like I'm on the hot seat here, getting in trouble before I've even made a lie.
It's a podcast, not a deposition.
Yes, there you go. Well, it says the Bullhucker. The truth is overrated is the saying for this. But if I had to pick another one, it'd be Bullhucker. I'm not good at lying because everybody tells us that. And then they proceed to kick our ass at this.
Standard line.
It's a standard line. So, Gillian, are you ready to tell some stories?
I sure am.
Mr. Vokey, you want to read off the story or the
absolutely.
titles?
We've got Superstar Athlete, Language of Love, and American Dream.
All right, I love it. All right, do you want to go first? Do you want me to go first? I went first last time.
Yeah, you did. So
pick one out, dude.
I'll go with Language of Love.
Oh, yeah.
I thought I'd put a February spin on this episode because it's February.
Why? How is that? Oh, it's Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day.
Okay,
You can tell we're single.
Hey, yeah.
What? February?
I'll be like, I'm a fat homely guy. Valentine's Day.
Well, it is Valentine's Day, so just remember that.
Okay.
I was trying to be creative.
Thank you.
So I grew up in South Africa. That's why I have an accent. And went. So in South Africa, there's 11 official languages. Wow. So we have one first language. In America, South Africa has 11 recognized first languages.
Holy shit.
It's a multicultural, multilinguistic country. And so for school, we had to study and graduate with a minimum of 3 languages. So I was not language blessed with talent. My sister speaks 8 languages. I speak 3 and graduated with Afrikaans, English, and Zulu. So for the super smart folks who graduated, they also did French, German, Spanish, Chinese, Italian. So yeah, that's part of my history and part of my culture growing up. And
I'd love to know why they're making you learn Spanish in South Africa.
Actually, it's really great is when you study Afrikaans for 12 years and then you move to the rest of the world where that language is only spoken in one place.
Oh,
And I struggled with language, man. I scraped through it.
Yeah.
It was terrible. So
I'm half Mexican. My grandmother tried like hell to teach me Spanish as a child, and I'm stubborn. I'm super stubborn, so I wasn't going to do it, All I learned in Spanish class was "puedo ir al baño." It means, can I use the restroom? And then I would go wander around in my little ADD state looking at all the shiny shit. That's what I would do, right?
Well, that's pretty good going. I picked up like muy caliente and things like that. Actually, in South Africa, there was no Hispanic anything, no Mexican food. So I moved here saying jalapeno and tortilla and never had salsa.
How was that for the first time?
It was delicious. I grew up eating something called chakalaka, which is also, it's an African tomato-based kind of spicy dish, like salsa but hot,
right?
Like heated up.
Okay.
So lots of different culture stuff, but just not the stuff that's in America.
I want to put you on the spot. Can you name all 11 languages?
Oh, I doubt it. One of my next stories would lead into some of that, but I could go English, Afrikaans, Zulu, Sotho, South Sotho, Xhosa.
This sounds like some Star Wars shit to me.
I'm sure if there's any South Africans that are going to listen to this, it's a disgrace to them. So I'm sorry.
I'm pretty sure one of those is the nightstand I just got from IKEA. I don't know. You could have just made up 11 words and would have been like, well, that's really cool.
I'm just not quick enough.
Kids want to know why? Because we're both stupid Americans. That's what it is. And we're horrible as people. Every country, people know a few languages, especially in Europe, right? Because it changes like within miles, right?
Right.
So, but here, man, we like refuse. Like, we will not do it. My grandmother was like, "You need to learn Spanish. It's going to help you out." I'm like, "I don't want to." The way we're talking right now, I think works just fine, Grandma. I wish I kicked myself every day.
What's really cool, my dad. So culturally, you grow up almost needing to speak different languages and learn them. And so you mentioned I'm a business owner. I own the liquor store in Hugo.
Right.
And my parents moved 6 years ago from Johannesburg to Hugo, and they run the liquor store. And my dad is actually learning Spanish.
Really?
And he's really good at language, like my sister. I did not get, my mom and I kind of suck on the language side.
Right.
They're really talented. But I'm so proud of him. He's in his 70s and he's learning Spanish. And
That's cool.
He's got like some online stuff that he's doing.
Yeah.
He's picking it up I mean, I've been here a long time and I've got nothing.
I'm with you. I am so with you, Gillian. I am horrible at picking up. I tried to get on, what's the app you can learn another language on?
Like Rosetta Stone or Babbel.
Babbel. Is there a different one?
There's another one.
There's another one. Duolingo?
Duolingo. That's the one I was trying. And I tried. I know Biblioteca is library. I know Autobus isn't bus. I mean, I'm just horrible at it. I'd love to speak another language. I'd love to.
We all have our inherent talents,
right,
of what we can learn.
We have on the Lundstrom side, it's Swedish. I'm a quarter Swede, and we have cousins from Sweden on Facebook, and it's a crazy language. And I tried to translate their stuff, and dude, there's no way it ain't happening. So I'm gonna die a one language loser.
I keep trying to learn Spanish too for work, and
me too.
I'll do really good and get through about 8 lessons, and then something happens and I stop for a week, and then I have to go back and start at lesson 1 because I can't remember anything.
So I got a question, Gillian. They said there's 11 languages. How do you decide which one's more important than the other to learn? Is it just a flip of the coin, or what is it?
I think it's really what we call your first language that you speak primarily, your home language.
Okay.
And I think it historically with a different political environment, it was different.
Sure.
But I think by today's standards, whatever you grow up speaking in the house is, generally your primary. And then when you go to school, depending on what school you go to, you'll be taught in a specific language. But the goal with adopting and recognizing 11 first languages was, 1, everyone's equal. And 2, you should be able to learn your primary education in your home language.
Right.
To put everyone on the same footing.
Right. That'd be tough, man. That'd be tough.
It's pretty wild.
Yeah.
And then we have this long-term history of mining. So a lot of people know about diamonds and things like that, and gold mining. In the mines, it has always been really multicultural in the mining industry, and so all the miners kind of developed their own language, which is a mixture of all the languages. And it doesn't matter what the heritage or background is of the person. If you're a miner, you learn to speak the language of the miners, and it's called Funny Galore. That's the name of the language. And so, because it's, it sounds all funny and messed up, but that's the name, is Funny Galore.
Is it like slang almost?
It's slang, and just all the languages mushed together.
Okay.
And it's unique.
Like Spanglish almost, right? Is that?
I don't know. I think it's more unique than that.
Yeah, I was thinking Cockney rhyming slang. Have you ever heard those guys?
What?
Cockney. It's a language.
Okay.
But then there's it's rhyming slang. So
it's in Europe, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And
it's North England.
Okay. Yeah. And so it's this thing where I don't care. I've watched videos about it, and it's amazing. But I don't know, I can't even give an example, but it's just crazy listening to those guys.
Say it one more time.
Cockney rhyming slang.
I'll have to,
look it up on YouTube.
Yeah, someone YouTube that for me, will you?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Huh.
So where people speak Cockney, you develop last names like Laycock.
Okay. When I first heard your last name, that's what I was wondering.
Yeah. From up there.
Okay. All right. When you come to America, how old are you when you first moved here?
20.
20 years old.
Yeah.
Wow. Was it tough to learn our slang?
No, I think it was not tough to understand it.
Okay.
It was tough to speak it back.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So with Hollywood, America is the powerhouse. The American culture is exposed everywhere else. So you grow up watching American language on TV.
Okay. All right.
What was funny is the first day I was in America was in New York, and I walked around New York all day. I had this layover. I was coming from Johannesburg to Colorado, and it was Puerto Rican Day. It was like a recognized day in New York, and so there were cops everywhere, and there were Puerto Ricans everywhere, and I kept on asking the New York cops for directions. And they kept on like bending over and going, "Do you speak English?" And I was like, "I'm speaking English. Do you understand English?" So it was a really funny experience. But I think it's the sound of the words, even though we're all saying the same things. So actually, my first husband, it's funny that we were speaking about being divorced, but my first husband was really like, had read British magazines because he was really into like international cars.
Okay.
And so he understood all the words I was using. And it was really great because he was almost like a bridge in understanding the translation of the words I was using, like a boot and a bonnet instead of a trunk and a hood. On the car.
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah. Okay. A bonnet. I knew that one.
A bonnet is the hood. And I don't know, just different words like that. So I think it was more the language that I was using than what the American slang is.
That's wild. When I was in high school, our football coach called our helmets bonnets.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's wild. So, but we can almost relate to you becoming old.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, no. Let me finish. We can relate to you almost being old because I don't understand anything the young kids say nowadays. All these words they have, these slang words, I have no clue what they're even speaking about. We had a few on the podcast that kind of like tuned us in. Yeah. And I completely screwed it up.
It's bad. It's bad. We're all over the hill. Yeah. And I don't go on TikTok. Years ago, I went on it and it was like 20 minutes later. I like blinked and it was 20 minutes later. And I lost 20 minutes of my life. Yeah. And I'm just like, I'm never going on TikTok again. And I rely on Facebook or Instagram to keep me current. And Facebook is like, no, you're not getting any of the current language or slang. Hell, I'm struggling learning Google Sheets.
But before you go any further, please follow us on TikTok, podcast, and Facebook and Instagram. Thank you.
I swear, everyone's on TikTok except for me. It's a bad.
I'm not.
I'm horrible.
Good.
Yeah, he's not.
I don't have TikTok.
I have people sending me little TikTok clips now. And I'm watching them. I can still at least watch them without having an account, but it's like Temu. I'm really scared to use Temu.
Thank you.
I'm so scared.
I'm the same way. It's like,
have you used it yet?
No.
You got some cool stuff on Temu.
Oh, man, I downloaded the app, and then I started freaking out, and I deleted it really quickly.
I did the same thing. I'm like, I don't want this on my phone.
I was like, oh, my God.
Because Amazon's bad enough. It is Amazon's bad.
And I'm very attached to Amazon. I've been using it for ever.
Hard not to.
I'm sure it's just as bad, but
well, I mean, so we always talk about this podcast to shop local, right? We always because upstairs in the Emporium, we're gonna get more into it. Did you have a chance? Have you been here before?
I have never been here before, and I'm sure Adam would like to describe my face because I walked in and I was like.
I was going to say she probably looked the same way upstairs as her first day in New York. She was just
I was blown away. I've lived in the Eastern Plains for 10 years, and it's really cool to see downtown revitalization and stores having, things that you don't want to be ordering online. Online has its place now. It's not going to go away. And thank goodness we do. Sorry, I'm a government nerd. Thank goodness we do collect local sales tax because that does support our community. Yep. But to walk in and see Boots and see some other... home goods and some cool stuff that we'd all want to buy. Yeah, I could tell. I was like, man, this is sweet.
Well, that's the point I was getting to. Was if you can shop local, you should. But thank God there is Amazon because there's some stuff you just can't get around here.
Yeah, and to walk into an area where there's great seating and there's actually people up there and patrons coming in and out.
It's cool.
It's really cool. Brush has come so far in the downtown over the last 30 years. It's been incredible.
Matt Gordon had a bunch to do with that too. Matt Gordon was a ramrod. He was go-getter. So
I know.
Oh, Matt's a great dude.
I've had the privilege of working with him for several years.
I wouldn't call it privilege, but I mean, what's up, Matty? But no, it's super cool. But it has its place online, and sometimes you just have to get it off Amazon. But I'll try and shop local first. You always should try and support local people.
That's how we survive.
And the money does stay here when you shop local. Although when 2020 hit, that sales tax from online sales kind of saved Brush's ass. It did big time.
Well, and I think so many people shopped local too that it really helped our small businesses that we're able to stay open and really helped our local economies as well, because so many people didn't want to travel into the city.
Right.
And I think that's a true testament to what you can get locally and how you can shop locally.
Right.
And also how much people are not shopping locally.
Mm-hmm.
So
I know like hardware stores and grocery stores just murdered it during the COVID,
Yeah.
because everybody's home, so they started working on the house, right? It makes
Yeah.
sense. So,
Yeah.
well, Voki, what did you think about that one?
It was super interesting.
Yeah, it was interesting. Super short, but super sweet. And I like that kind of stuff. I like when we learn on this podcast. Some people come on and just, you learn all something. Yeah, honestly,
Right.
I had no idea there was 11 languages down there.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Isn't that amazing?
If you'd asked me, I'd be like, 3 or 4 maybe, 11. That's crazy. All right. That was Language of Love. Next, we have American Dreamer Superstar Athlete. I'm going to go with, let's hear American Dream.
I am the American dream.
Yeah, you are.
So kind of touching on what I shared before is the actual story. I am the American dream. I have lived in America more than half my life.
Nice.
So I know that I have this really perceived to have a heavy accent. I shared before that people didn't understand me when I first flew out to America, and English is my first home language. But a lot of people hear me and talk to me, and they're like, "Oh, you must have come over pretty recently." So yeah, that's the basis of my story is I've lived in America more than half my life. I came out on vacation and fell madly in love and got married and became a citizen. And I moved here with a suitcase for 6 weeks.
And that's how you tested it out.
And that's how I got that's kind of how I'm here. And I worked very hard. And why I say the American dream is I was able to get a part-time job at Home Depot, and I needed health insurance, and I was like, I got to go to work. I installed flooring on the side for many years.
Good Lord, Gillian.
I'm a tiler by trade.
Oh, God bless you.
That job sucks.
Oh, man.
Yeah, actually, I was doing a kitchen in 20 by 20 travertine, and it was October, and it started snowing outside, and my tile saw froze up, and I was like, I gotta fucking get a new job. It's terrible. I'm not strong enough for this, and the cases are too heavy, and that tile was so thick, and I was like, man, I better find a different way to make a living.
So you did mostly tile. You didn't do like the wood flooring
I did
or
all
the
of
carpet.
it.
You did all of
Mostly
it.
tile, though.
Oh, wow. That's even worse.
Mostly tile. So
you had to cut it and grout it and all that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I put the flooring in my house 2 years ago, and I got to be honest, I got through the kitchen, and I was like, respect to whoever does this for a living, because this sucks. My knees were killing me. My back started hurting.
You got to do it while you're young.
My Uncle Ed is an awesome dude. I love my Uncle Ed. He'll help me do anything. It took one day of that, and he was like, I got some stuff I got to get rid of. All of a sudden, I was like, geez, run, coward, run,
It's rough. I bought myself my first car in America with tile money.
That is awesome.
And so this is why I say the American dream. I think my story is so I worked my way up in Home Depot. I became a store manager, learned a lot about American corporate environment, learned all my HR background.
Yeah.
Moved on, worked for another company, worked in the energy industry, left that. We all have bad bosses. Learned how to not be a bad boss, left and opened up my own business, worked for myself for many years, became disillusioned with that. I was like, it was great, and then it's not great, and you're like, I need a new life, just like tiling. And I was like, I'd rather stick a pencil in my eye or pack cans on a shelf in King Soopers. So I sold out of my business, went on a motorbike ride, came back, got stuck in a hailstorm. My husband pulled under the overhang of Hugo Liquors for shelter, went in, and a year later I was packing liquor bottles on a shelf.
All right, there's a lot to...
Wait, it gets better.
Oh, okay.
The American dream part. And so when I look at my life, I always remember how much I came here with. So my parents moved from Johannesburg to Hugo 6 years ago. And last year in September, they both became citizens.
That's awesome.
So we're very proud. We're very proud to be immigrants. We're all, I don't even know if that's considered first generation or whatever it's called.
Right.
We're very proud, and we love this country, and we love being here.
Mm-hmm.
We love working hard, and my hard work has rewarded me, and this country has afforded me that. I will tell you about being an American and traveling. When I say I moved here with a suitcase for 6 weeks, it's what you put in the overhead luggage.
Oh,
That's
wow.
what you travel with being a South African. I had 3 pairs of underwear because you wash your clothes. You don't pack everything you need when you travel. Right. Years and years later, I decided to go backpacking by myself through Europe in 2016. And I packed my liter bottles of shampoo and conditioner. It was ridiculous. And my backpack was so heavy. I was on the phone with my husband, and he's like, "Oh, honey, just throw it away. Like, you can go buy some more in the store."
Au natural.
So that, just the reflection of our American life and the luxury that we live. And why would I need to backpack with a liter bottle of shampoo? Oh, and hand sanitizer. That's very American that I'm have in my bag too. But, from coming here from 6 weeks and building my life up. So I think I'm very American.
Yeah.
I complain when internet sucks in other countries and it's too slow. And but complaining at the airport that lines are too long and things like that. So,
right.
But that's, I think I'm the American dream.
You are.
And my life is.
There's a few things I would recommend. Are you into sports at all?
I have tried.
Okay,
I have tried to be into sports.
Find a sport you like, a team you like, and then fight anybody else that doesn't like that team. That's very American, okay? You disown friends over it. That's right.
That sounds like living in a small town.
Ding, 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 ding.
I love sports, and actually my next story is sports related.
Yeah,
so.
all right, we get there. I got to be honest, I'm a little envious of you. I think this is very cool. I didn't have the guts to do that myself. Not even move to a different country alone. Just go on the road. I remember when I was in high school, Ace Davis, rest his soul, Jason Moss, myself, and there was somebody else. We were going to hop in a van and just, the summer after our senior year, just go. You know what I mean? Save some money and just go on the road. And it never happened. Ace's grandparents had a van they're going to lend us. And every day I wish we would have done that. Probably been fist fights and whatever, but those always turn into cherished memories somehow, right?
It's just so cherished memories. I'm ashamed. I was trying to think of what stories I was going to tell, and I started becoming ashamed of. I can't remember every name of every city I've traveled to in the world anymore.
Humble brag there.
I'm like, I could say I've been to this many cities, but I can't even remember. Because backpacking, it fades over time.
Sure.
But you have memories of those locations and where you've been, and traveling by yourself. I know it's not always safe as a woman, but or as a man traveling individually, but it's the most life-changing thing. I would encourage anyone to do it. I was on a bus. I was in Budapest, so I backpacked through Europe twice. And I was traveling through Budapest. I got on a bus. I was going to see a war memorial. And I was on the bus for 45 minutes and got, into the suburban area, got off the bus. And most people that I had kind of approached did not speak English. Mm-hmm. And I started pointing on my cell phone of where I was looking to go because I figured I was pretty close. And the guy just laughed and said, "Get back on the bus and go that way." 45 minutes.
Really?
And you've got no one to shout at.
Yeah.
That's what's so special about traveling alone. Is
right.
You have to be completely independent and rely on yourself, and you've got no one to blame. And I think we do that with our loved ones and spouses.
Sure.
It's easy to blame someone else for getting lost when you're traveling or things like that, or it's stressful and different. You're navigating through things that are unknown. So that was I love that memory because it's like, I didn't have you there to shout at you.
But I wish I did. Let me ask you this, Gillian. What was the scariest moment on that trip? Was there a moment that just You almost regretted you were doing this?
No.
No, it's just all cherries, huh? Good for you.
Well, I mean, being sick sucks when you're backpacking. I was in Siena in Italy, and that's when I threw my shampoo away because my backpack got really heavy, and
right.
I had really bad flu, like I got a really bad cold, and I was exhausted, and you cry and you have a little breakdown and you miss home, and I wouldn't say it's scary. It's just a testament kind of to resilience. You don't pack it in and just go home because you got flu and you don't want to carry heavy bags.
Right.
Because the next day you're on to another city and seeing amazing architecture and new things.
Right.
So I think traveling, again, as an individual person, you always have to watch your back.
Of course.
So, and especially when you're a tourist in another country, you kind of have to put in studying ahead of time and making sure you're safe. But there's still areas that you might travel through that are not safe. So I would say like hypervigilance is always really necessary.
So I don't know much about South Africa, next to nothing. All right. Would you have the same opportunity there as you did in America?
No.
Not at all. Not close.
Not a chance.
Really?
Really.
May I ask why? What's the biggest thing stopping you in South Africa?
I think the standard of living.
Okay.
And also the employment opportunities are very different here than there.
Okay. There's more of them? Or they're better?
I think the standard of living here, I know people won't believe this, but it's more affordable.
Right.
So you can have a better life
right.
Here with blue-collar jobs.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah, the dollar goes further on the life here.
Okay.
It's also a lot safer in general.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Like just existing. It's a lot safer. South Africa's got a lot of crime.
Right.
It's all-out femicide.
It's what?
Femicide.
Okay.
All-out femicide against women in general. I think that culture's been developing over
it's getting worse.
30 years.
Yeah.
It's bad. It's a bad space to be.
Is your sister still over there?
No, she's in Australia.
Okay. Also very cool. Is she Australian now?
I assume so.
What did you think about all that, Vogue?
That was a lot. This whole podcast, I mean, like the amount of information
I'm a really intense person.
It's good.
I'm like, wow, this is going to be a lot to sort through at the end.
I really like it. I like it. We get down on Americans all the time and how this country, people are talking about being ripped apart. But you know what? It's still great, man. You know what I mean?
It's incredible.
Yeah.
I love politics.
Okay.
I hate politics, but I love politics. I obviously love government.
Right.
Working in government, it's an absolute privilege.
Right.
To serve at municipal level because you can make a really positive impact.
Sure.
I can't imagine what it would be like on a federal level.
Oh, it's going to be awful.
Awful. But growing up with the South African government and the change in government that I lived through and was exposed to, my parents were very intentional about me being very aware I remember being 11 and my mom putting me in front of a TV screen saying, this is Chris Haney's funeral and you need to understand this is the first time whites and blacks are in lines together at someone's funeral for this person who was a freedom fighter. And the intention of me being exposed to political change, the new constitution that was adopted, and equal rights of all humans. And so I think that really gave me a very strong passion of I think why I'm ended up here today in working in government. I think that's I care very much about policy and transparency, and I think it's rooted in that. It's bizarre to me, honestly. If you had met me in high school, I was such a rebel. At least I thought I was. And I was always getting in trouble and couldn't follow the rules. And now, I'm in this position. But I think it was really what I was exposed to through the eyes and intentionality of my parents that have influenced me to be this way.
That's awesome, though.
Yeah, it's really cool.
It is really cool.
It's a privilege. The American dream.
The American dream.
Because if I was in South Africa, I'd never be in government.
And
never be able to serve community for a cool
great.
life.
I never had to lay tile either, though.
I probably would have.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I didn't say something about you earlier. Something I always think of when I think of you is the passion she had when sometimes we have local, like the corner of the state, all the municipalities get together. We did it in Brush. Last one was in Ray. And every municipality sits up and says, hey, we're doing this, we're having problems with this, right? Everybody kind of gives like a State of the Union for their little town. She got up and they have a new pool in Lyman. And every time I go through Lyman, I'm like, I gotta go see this damn pool. Because you were so passionate about it. I thought it was awesome.
It's life-changing for a community to have a vibrant pool that's modern and heated.
Right.
And the play features.
Yeah.
And it's such an investment and an expense. It belongs to everyone, and it needs to be accessible to everyone. And so it was a privilege to be like the primary role in helping make that pool happen.
My point was that your passion for it was awesome. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
Because I can tell you firsthand, pools are horrible.
Oh man, it's a beast.
We slap a Band-Aid on the brush one every year.
It's all it is. It's so bad.
To fix it or to replace it.
Yeah.
It's stupid.
It's so many millions, and it's
millions.
Something so integral to a community and youth, and even you need an accessible pool. Most grandparents are babysitters now,
right?
And if you don't have a pool that both grandparents and kids can get into, you've got this divide in the family, and then it's just we have so few recreation resources on the Eastern Plains in our small towns. Like the pool is it.
Yeah.
And thank goodness, like the CCC went through back in the recovery days of the 30s and went through and built pools in all our small towns, or we wouldn't have them.
Right.
Yeah.
Very cool.
It's very cool.
Very, very passionate. That's what I dig, man.
Thank you.
It's very cool. All right, Mr. Vokey, we got one left, huh?
Yep. Superstar athlete.
All right.
Okay.
Bring it home, sister.
I'm a superstar athlete. Not anymore. I was a national athlete in South Africa. I was a squash player. So most people don't know what squash is.
Yeah, I was just going to say, please explain to us what squash
is. It is the most delicious vegetable, but it is also a sport. So it's an indoor racket sport. It's not the same as racquetball, but it has some similar qualities. So you have a ball, you have a racket, you hit it against the wall. I only describe it that way because I hate racquetball. But if you looked at it, you'd think it was really similar. The ball doesn't bounce as much. You have to hit it a lot harder. The techniques are different. I would always say that racquetball is for lazy people and squash is for...
so you're a squash snob, is that what I'm hearing?
Yes. So that was another wonderful life experience, was to be a national athlete and play squash and have national colors and represent your country.
So national athlete. I'm a little lost. Like Olympics,
Sure.
like the Olympic.
No,
okay.
No. So I had a ranking of number 10 in the country.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. So I don't know if that would. I don't think I was good enough to go to the Olympics.
Okay. Okay.
I'd have to be in like the top 3, maybe.
Do they play squash in the Olympics?
I don't know.
Okay.
I used to know when I was a squash player.
Or August, whatever it is.
I don't know. That's really sad.
I gotta be honest. If they do, I'll watch it, and I'll be like, "That Gillian's full of shit. That is racquetball." I don't.
It's not racquetball. The racquetball ball's like bigger and really bouncy, so you can hit it, and you can almost like stand in one place, and it'll come to you. And with squash, you have to like run around and chase the ball. And then you have to be like really aggressive and hit it really hard, and then be more strategic about where you're placing it and how you hit it.
How many people are on the court at once?
So typically 2, you and your opponent.
Okay.
There is doubles. So the court is a little bit bigger, but if you want a time that it is scary or when I have been scared, it's playing doubles and
Really?
squash. Because you have to hold your racket like really high like this for your swing down because it is an aggressive swing.
Okay.
And doubles is a bit cramped for me.
Is it as wide as like a tennis court?
Oh, no.
Oh, it's smaller, like a racquetball court.
Yes.
Okay.
It's like a racquetball court, but not
a racquetball court. So a single squash court is smaller, slightly smaller than a racquetball court.
Okay.
Narrower but longer. And then doubles is probably the same size as racquetball.
So back home, or South Africa,
Yeah.
sorry. What is squash the big?
Oh, no.
Okay.
It's very elitist.
Okay. Very
Kind of like it is in America.
I gotta be honest.
It's not very common.
I gotta be honest. I always put a title to everybody's episode, and I think yours might be Squash Snob. That might be how I label this.
I say it's very elitist because most people just don't like tennis is really common.
Yes.
And there's tennis courts everywhere.
Is it like our golf, basically?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, people can play it, but
there's squash in America.
right.
It's on the East Coast, and it's also like super elitist.
Really?
Probably more elitist than what it is in South Africa.
Really?
I think so.
Maybe
I was pretty
so.
middle class and got to do it, but I went to a school that had squash courts, and actually I went to tennis lessons when I was a kid, and I kind of said I might have had a problem with authority and got kicked off the tennis court by the coach, and I was like, fuck you, I'll go play squash. And that's how I ended up with this awesome like squash experience in my life.
Right. So what came of the whole squash?
Well, actually, don't get sad now, but I developed like this health problem.
Uh-oh.
And ended up anyway, so I ended up having to have major surgery because I was going to die.
Jesus.
Because so I kind of overdeveloped my upper section and had to have so you have like this main vein running under your collarbone and over your ribs.
Yeah.
And the main vein was getting squashed. So I actually lost the use of my hand for a couple years, and it all went numb, and my nerves were getting crushed.
To be very clear now, are you saying you got so muscular? Is that what it was? Like you were building muscle?
Well, the surgeon was like, you have really large bones for a fully grown woman, and you have like all this muscle and this large bone structure, so your vein is getting crushed. And so I lost the use of my hand, like my right hand, and I'm right-handed. And like I couldn't feel anything. You could like stick a pin in the side of my hand. I couldn't feel it because my nerves were getting crushed. And then I went in for this angiogram, and they put me in emergency surgery the next day.
Oh, my God.
Because they were saying my vein was about to collapse and I was going to die. So then they cut out my first rib. So then I obviously had to stop playing squash.
They all Adam and Eve your ass.
I'm telling you, man, but the rib was at the top, not the bottom.
But there's another one you walking around. There's somebody with your rib walking around. There's a clone.
Maybe they're like doing better at squash than I did. I used to be a drummer too, and so I was a drummer and played squash, so I just had like this overuse of my right arm.
Sure.
Too.
I've never heard anybody that's been so muscular.
Well, it wasn't just because of the muscles.
Okay.
But I was very strong. I used to have a really good golf swing too.
So, Squash Snob.
I've heard all the jokes. I just want you to know.
Okay.
The Adam and Eve joke is not original.
Oh. I was all proud of myself.
You know what you haven't hit on yet? The Adam and Eve joke and the Laycock last name.
I've been really holding off on the Laycock thing.
By the way, I've heard every single joke. I doubt you could come up with something new.
You know, it'd be nice if you started doing pornography. You wouldn't have to change your name at all.
I've heard that one.
Ah, damn it.
Maybe said like slightly differently.
Okay,
like,
all right.
Are you a porn star? Or
That's not saying. I'm just saying the options there. Okay.
I wouldn't have to.
All right.
I wouldn't. And I'll tell you, after being married and changing my last name and giving up the last name Laycock, and getting divorced, like one of the first things I did is go and file for my last name to be Laycock again.
So that's your maiden name.
It is my maiden name.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm never giving up this name.
You dig the Laycock name.
Fuck yeah.
I would too. I'll be honest, I didn't know what your last name was until I asked Dencia. because I realized I knew Gillian just as Gillian. Like, you just write Gillian on your stuff for CML.
Big G, you know.
Yeah. So I don't know what Gillian's last name is. And I said Laycock. I was like, oh, that's too much, Rita.
When you grow up with a last name like this is how you turn out.
Oh, yeah. You take a lot of abuse, did you?
Not a whole lot.
Is it common? Is it that kind of a common name?
No.
Is it South African or does it have
No, it's British. So the Cockney conversation in the beginning. So my grandparents were from Yorkshire and Lancashire, which is like the north of England.
Okay.
And so there's some kind of like chicken farming heritage. I don't know. I don't know. You know, something from up there.
I'm going to think of a joke you've heard. I'm going to think of one. It might take me a couple of days, but I'm going to bring it.
Moose is going to start losing sleep now.
You can text me. I'll tell you if it's good or not.
You'll be interviewing someone, and they'll be like, you're going to pick up the phone. And I heard it. Click. Some fat bastard won't leave me know my last name. Yeah.
If I wasn't, if I wasn't the town manager of Akron being recorded, I'd start telling you all the jokes I've heard. But I don't think that's appropriate.
We're going to turn these off here pretty soon, so you can, Adam and I can get our own little show. So that was awesome. I'm going to tell you right now, Gillian, this was an original podcast.
Mm-hmm. It was
3 very simple stories, 3 almost statements, not stories. But I really enjoyed this. This has been fun. So
Thank you.
Yeah, it's very interesting stuff. We'll have to bring you back and tell us some more stories, you know, when you move on to be president or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
You never know. I can't be president. I wasn't born here.
Oh, that's true. Let Arnold work on it. He's trying.
I know.
He's doing his best.
He's in the lead for all of us.
Is me on Laycock?
You know, politics is rough. I don't know if I can handle that. It's abusive.
You want to know why he would never pick you to be his running mate? Because he's never been so muscular. He's almost killed himself in a, you know?
Oh, man, I was so fit.
You almost choked yourself out with your bicep or your pec.
That's not the truth.
Story I'm going to tell people. That's a bit of Laycock. All right. Vokey, do you have any idea?
Not really.
I don't either. I am pretty lost.
Saying they're statements, but then they turned into amazing stories.
Yes. So good. But before we go any further, we're going to stop for a second. And I want to say a very thank you to the Brush Emporium for giving us the space down here. How do you like it down here?
I think it's incredible.
Yeah.
I'm so impressed. I'm blown away. It's really cool.
This is really, we did this. We worked on this quite a bit, right, Vogue? It was a lot of redneckery down here, but it worked out somehow. But thank you to the Brush Emporium for making this a possibility. You know, we have a gift for you before you go from the Brush Emporium.
Oh, wow. Thank you. Well, I'm thrilled to be here. This is cool.
Yeah, it was
Thanks
cool.
for having me on.
I'm so happy you came. If you have not been to the Brush Emporium, what the hell are you waiting for? If you go upstairs, like we talked about earlier, they have, if you want a unique gift you don't want to find on Amazon or whatever, come down to the Brush Emporium. They have homemade stuff down here, people that do their wares, and they give them a place here to showcase their talents. Also, they serve food here, right?
They do. Amazing food.
Yes.
It smells really good.
Oh, it's awesome. The pizza's so good. Super Bowl Sunday, this is going to come out 2 days after that. So anyway, they have pizza. They have wings, pastas, frozen yogurt, ice cream, pretzel sticks. Yeah, they have.
Those are my favorite. Wings.
Right, and it's a local business. It's owned by 4 local people who are awesome. They started this to give people this opportunity, you know. So please make sure you support them. They support this podcast. Come in and tell them, hey, Bullhucker sent me here. You won't get shit for free, but you know what I mean? It gives us a plug, and it reassures them they made the right decision. Thank you so much. So thank you, Brush Emporium. You guys are so awesome. 210 Clayton Street. All right, Mr. Vokey. We're going to rock, paper, scissors. Gillian, how do you rock, paper, scissors?
Well, sorry about that long pause. I was just thinking, I heard it called something else recently.
Rochambeau.
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm glad you said rock, paper, scissors,
right,
because that is what we would call it growing up.
Okay, so how do you do it?
Not Rochambeau.
Do you boom, 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 or rock, paper, scissors, shoot?
You do it on the third one.
So boom, boom, boom.
Boom, boom, boom.
If you look behind you, there's 3 pumpers and 4 pumpers. I like you do it the right way.
Yes, I'm on top.
Well,
it's all about winning.
The numbers wouldn't suggest that.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. It's funny.
What?
I didn't do the count last year, but for the past 2 years, I've done what has ever won. Who's done? Because some people go rock, paper, scissors, then shoot, right? So last year we won. The 3 pumpers won. The year before that, 4 pumpers won. Well, I'm sorry, I didn't do it last year. The year before, 3 pumpers. The year before, 4 pumpers. This last year, I think the 4 pumpers might have won, but the 3 pumpers, I think, are
y'all are making a comeback.
Yeah.
So, just some strategy. If you let me know that I had a thank you gift, and then you asked me about the 3 pumpers, 4 pumpers.
That's right.
You should prime that by saying, if you're a 3 pumper, you get to take a gift home.
Well, that's just bribery. That's all
Well,
it is.
it's about winning.
What that filthy 4 pumper offer you? Nothing. All right, so we're doing 3 pumps. Ready? Fucker.
Don't you go a third time?
Yeah, we go.
Just 1, 2,
Did you do 3? No,
Yeah.
a third round.
No.
Oh no, we just do.
Just
We can barely agree on how many times to pump it. Okay.
I can tell.
I had signs made. That's it. Yeah.
Clearly, you figured out how to get along. You should start like a team training shit.
You know what?
Tell people how to get along.
It becomes very contentious after a while. Those 3 pumping, 4 pumping things. Like people get into it. They want to start scrapping Dencia. Our Dencia will straight come at me at this stuff. She's a 4 pumper.
She's a 4 pumper.
She acts like you murdered somebody. Like, why are you doing? What do you do? Why? Why, dude? Why?
Cool.
All right, we got 3 great stories. Superstar athlete, language of love, and American dream. I got to be honest, Gillian, I honestly don't know. They were all very informative. I really enjoyed this episode. I can't say that enough. This has been a lot of fun. But I'm going to go in. I'm gonna pick superstar athlete. Language of love. That seems like a pretty. It was pretty quick. They were all pretty quick. That one seemed 11 languages. Probably true. American Dream. I think you are the American Dream. I think that's very cool. It's a story. You got a great story. I'm gonna pick superstar athlete just for the simple fact that I don't think your pectoral muscles almost killed you. I'm finding out if it is.
It wasn't a pec muscle.
Whatever muscle is choking you out. Going for you.
Actually, it was muscles in my neck.
That's even worse. That's even worse. My God. My name's Gillian. I'm here for the squash tournament. Which one of you pansies is going to pay from the South African dream?
And I wasn't even number 1.
No. Jesus, that was their neck.
Right.
All right, folks. Yeah, I'm thinking superstar athlete. What do you got, bro?
I don't know. I was kind of thinking language of love. I believe that you speak 3 languages, but then you said your sister speaks 8, and so I'm going to go with that just because the count on the amount of languages spoken might be off. I don't know.
You've done a very good job. I keep saying this. I usually don't kiss people's ass this much, but you've done a good job because you came at us. I'd never had someone come at us like this.
Oh, her?
3 statements, and the story was great.
Like, what the hell? Because the thing is like you'd made your comment or your statement, and then you'd like tell a story, and then like, oh, and then you tell it. So it was hard to figure out, you know, because people come in usually and tell like one story, and then that's it. And you had several stories. Right. So one of the, you could have been like, oh, and that could have been the lie.
Right.
But you're just acting like you just thought of it. So, yeah, this is like messing with me.
So what we're going to do now is...
Imagine how my husband feels.
Before you flip that around,
Sure.
I'm taking superstar athlete. You're taking language of love.
Yes.
At home right now, if you're on YouTube watching this, in the comments below, write which one do you think it is, right?
Yep.
Have fun at home. I mean, be honest about it. No one, you know, we're not going to like call you out like, did you see what they picked? Wrong, you know. So put in the comments below which one you think it is, all right? Now, Gillian, let's see your board. Which one is not the truth? Language of love. What is not true about language of love?
Well, you didn't get it right.
I got it right enough for this podcast to count.
So I don't speak 3 languages.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you speak?
I'm an American. I speak 1.
That's why you succeeded here. You know?
I did learn 3 languages in school, but I'm terrible
Right.
at them. I can say some really basic stuff in multiple languages more than
Sure.
3, but I really can't hold a conversation.
So, okay. All right.
So I was kind of right. I said like the number of languages spoken.
Yeah.
My sister's a mad genius.
Where in this country would you use the languages anyway? Those other languages ever anywhere?
Unless you're around people who speak
Right.
those languages, no. But I do have a great story.
Okay.
So I was traveling. When I was backpacking through Europe in 2016. I was hiking up the coast of Italy through there is an area of 5 villages called Cinque Terre, and I'm sure I'm butchering the name appropriately, and you can kind of hike up the coastline into these different little fishing villages. And so I was coming down the hill into this one, like the 3rd village, and someone started speaking to me in Italian, and I said, "Ek kan nie verstaan wat jy sê, ek praat Afrikaans, wil jy praat met my in Engels?" Which is, I can't understand what you're saying. I'm speaking Afrikaans. Will you speak to me in English? It's something kind of like a joke I play with myself in my head because I assume no one's going to understand what I'm saying.
Right.
And the person that I said that to spoke back to me in Afrikaans. And it was like so random. And I just said, holy shit, I would never expect this to happen. And you don't think anyone's speaking Afrikaans anywhere else in the world. And they're like, well, you better watch what you say because we can understand you.
Yep.
And they were from South Africa.
Wow.
So that was really cool. That gave me a little bit of a, like, oh, you want to try and be cheeky. You better catch a wake up. And there's more language spoken all over the world. So.
My mother's half Mexican, half Swedish. Very light-skinned, right? Mm-hmm. But my mom speaks fluent Spanish. So
she does?
Oh, yeah, man.
I've known Mary forever.
Yeah, no, she speaks Spanish. And it's funny when people speak Spanish around her and she turns around and starts talking to them. They just get real. Yeah, because my grandmother, who was full-blooded Mexican, was also very light-skinned. You know, that's just where we came from. And people were like, your grandmother's Mexican? And we're like, we bleach her at night. It's fine. You know what I mean? Yeah, she's Mexican, you know. But like you said, when they would start, if we'd be somewhere and they'd start speaking to me in Spanish, and she'd answer him. I'm like, no habla, bro. Es mi mama. I don't know, you know.
I think it's a great asset to speak at least one other language.
I'd love to.
I'll tell you, I was traveling through Greece and on that same trip, and was in rural, like in the north of Greece, in the rural area. Yeah. And got directions with them speaking German and me asking in Afrikaans.
Wow.
The languages are different, but it was enough to at least get directions to where I was traveling to.
That's
so that was really cool. So I might feel like, oh, well, first of all, I think it's a bit sad that I don't speak Zulu or Afrikaans.
Right.
If I had stayed in South Africa, I probably would still speak it, but I just wasn't good enough to have it ingrained in me as a human. But it was cool to have those experiences and kind of get by.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Jerry Cage was on here. What's up, Jerry? And he was stationed in Japan when he was in the Marines. And it was kind of cool when he came on here. And he speaks a little bit of Japanese, but it was just neat what he picked up or what he was forced to pick up. You know, it was cool. But
and I think we all inherently want to acclimate to wherever we're at.
Sure.
To connect with each
other.
Well, it's
just smarter anyway. You know, I mean, if you're going to be in Japan, you probably want to speak the language, you know, just to, get by. But Gillian, I can't tell you how much I've enjoyed this. This has been really awesome.
It's been great for me too.
Yeah, it's been fun. And you guys didn't have as much in common as you thought, right? He doesn't play squash, but
no, I don't play squash, and I do rock paper scissors the right way.
You know what? We're not friends anymore.
That's right.
I don't want you to be a Leo, and I don't want you to be on August 9th.
Oh, so now you're taking my birthday away. Okay, right
you can go be a Pisces.
That means nothing to me. So, anyway, Gillian, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
And if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you click the little subscribe button down in the corner. It's a small click for you, but a big click for us.
Huge click for us. Little red button on the right-hand corner of the screen. Also, no matter what platform you're on, leave a rating and review. Hopefully we'll see it. If we don't, whatever. And if you'd like to come on the podcast or you know somebody that would be awesome to have on the podcast,
absolutely. There's
a contact on bullhucker.com. Put their information down. We have a few people from Akron coming down next week, I believe. So nice. Jimmy Jabauer and Mr. Jefferson, I believe, will be joining us. So, but if you know anybody, please, or if you'd like to do it, please reach out, man. We'd love to have people because, I mean, the tough part about this is, Gillian, we don't know everybody, you know, and it's not often people actually reach out. I think they kind of wait for me to ask them. You know?
Yeah, it feels good when you ask.
Yeah, I know, and I find
it's like I'm cool enough to be on your podcast.
Yeah. Well, I wanted you to be on the podcast, but if people want to try it, I'd love to reach out, but I need to know if I need to know. So, at any rate, let us know if you'd like to come on. We'd love to have you. So we have people lined up, but we'll get you on the list, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
On the list of the wanted. Is that weird? That's weird.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Anyway, I'm Moose Lundstrom.
I'm Adam Vokey.
Hey, we'll catch you next time. Peace.